Welcome, everyone, to my first episode on health. This will be probably about 11 episodes I'm going to create. At least that's what I have plans for right now. It might go less or more, depending on how the content is going and how I'm able to condense into, maybe lesser episodes or more. I have to extend it to more episodes because there's a lot more information about health. Let me explain where I'm coming from as far as health is concerned. Again, if you don't know, this is Raju Datla. I've been on this health journey for several years, long time now. But last 3-4 years has been a dramatic shift in my health. Doesn't mean I've had issues in the middle, but that's, everybody has issues, no matter what health you kind of follow. Eventually, you'll have some issues, right? You can't predict it. I mean, you can have a broken leg for all, scenarios, right? But yeah, anyway, me personally, in college, I played sports, cricket specifically, and other sports. I was, leading, the cricket team for my college. So obviously, I wasn't, kind of an athlete. You can't compare it to, if you're listening in US, you can't compare it to what US is. In India, you don't have that kind of exercise equipment and all that stuff to be in the peak shape like athletes here are. But I was fairly well exercised. I thought I was fairly in a good shape at that point in my 20s or late teens, I guess. But fast forward now, I'm in my 50s. I'm in the best shape ever. And I can do things, exercise routines and stuff like that. But probably 20-year-olds find it hard to do, even in fairly good shape. And that's what I wanted to share, wanted to go into the whole in-depth of how one gets healthy, the best shape or peak, fitness and all that stuff. Now, it doesn't mean I've got like a six pack or, I can be a fitness model. No, for me, I'm in pretty good shape. Anybody who sees me knows I'm in a good shape. Some think I'm too thin, but that doesn't matter. Whatever it is, I'm in great shape. I haven't had to take COVID vaccine. Didn't even barely got COVID. The only time I got COVID was, well, actually, I might have gotten COVID 2 or 3 times. The only time I got tested was because I went to an event and then everybody in the event, we were on the dance floor, including my kids. Everybody got sick. All of them had COVID vaccine. Guess who didn't have one? Me. And who got the least symptoms? Me. So some people didn't get it, obviously, who had COVID vaccines or all. So, but most people who were on the dance floor got it. But the main point was I'm the one who didn't have vaccines and who got COVID. Barely knew it was COVID. The only reason I knew it was COVID because I got tested because everybody else, had COVID, right? So that's my kind of give you background on, me and health and all that stuff. And I've had a lot of people, I've coached a lot of people or gave tips to a lot of people on health based on them asking me, hey, how come, you're changed and you're in the shape and all that stuff, how in, such good health and all. Now, that doesn't mean last 3 or so years, I didn't have any issues. There were a couple of issues, just to be, transparent. I had gallbladder issue and ulcers. But what I found is those don't come all of a sudden. They are there for years and years, many times, and they show up. So it doesn't mean just because you shifted your health and you're eating healthy and all, the lingering issues might not crop up. That's one of the lessons I learned. So with that being said, this first episode is going to be about why and what. Before you decide to become healthy, a lot of people, there are a lot of health coaches, nutrition coaches, and all that stuff. What I found is those don't work. Those are like short-term fixes, right? If you're doing a diet, getting a fitness expert, changing your food, all that stuff, it's temporary. What I found is you have to have a strong reason. So that's why this episode, I share why and what needs to be solid for you before you decide to change your health status. If not, you're not going to stick it. As soon as something goes wrong, you start to go back to your old, like, this doesn't work. So why and what, right? What I wanted to share is, although the reason I first started getting into health, fitness and all that stuff was more to maintain what I have and all that. But the science now coming out more and more, it is pretty quickly coming, especially with AI, quantum computing coming soon, maybe changing how fast AI will help, is the longevity. I'll try to put it in the show notes, but if you haven't heard before, or haven't heard or haven't listened to before, Dr. David Sinclair, I highly recommend listening to him. And then, Peter Diamand has set up this longevity, I believe, a prize. I believe it's longevity, or I forget, whatever health, But the bottom line is, it is fairly certain that things are coming soon, that if you're in pretty good health in the next 10, 20 years, the chances of you living up to 150 years in peak health. I mean, when I talk to people about being in, living beyond 100 or getting to 100, everyone, who wants to live that long? People think that you're like, walking with a cane and, are barely able to walk and you're relying on other people, all that stuff. No, science is showing that our body ages because of software problem, not the hardware problem. Software in the sense that genes, stem cells, all that stuff are aging because of wrong. And so if the right information is fed to them and reprogram them, then you can live a healthy and you can reverse age. Again, that's why I said, look up David Sinclair. Look up his pictures 10, 15 years ago when he was in 40s to now in his 50s. He looks like a 30-year-old. Like sometimes he even looks like a 20-year-old. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. Why you're going to embark? Are you going to embark on the health journey because you just want to lose a couple of pounds and then you're back to your old self? Then you're not going to stick to whatever you're doing. And remember, none of the diet protocols, no matter what you follow, it doesn't matter, keto, whatever, are not long-term. What you have to pick is a long-term. So you are consistently healthy, not just healthy for a period and then you're back to your old self. And that's what I've learned. I've done diets, I've lost weight, gained weight, all that stuff, right? But once I've learned that diets don't work and only long-term, habits, or which one of the things I'll get into in the future episode is about habits, how to create those habits, right? But the bottom line is, look at the science that's coming. And look at the fact that if you want to be healthy later in life, you got to do it ahead. You can't expect things to happen well for you when you get sick, right? For example, I just shared my gallbladder issue, right? Was the gallbladder caused by my shift in health habits? No, the gallbladder exists for a long time. It just blew up at that point. It was actually almost a few months into my whole diet, kind of shift in my mindset on how I wanted to eat and all that stuff. And, the gallbladder obviously didn't exist, didn't come up because I started eating healthy. It was because of all the crappy stuff I did before. And I kind of finally, I guess, got pushed up, right? Same thing with ulcer. I got a bacterial infection. And I thought it was maybe because of the food I ate, right? Like I started eating a lot of raw food. But then doctor said, no, that's not necessarily true. You can have the bacteria in your tummy for a long time before it flares up for whatever reason, right? So that's the point. If I thought just by dieting, whatever, those issues will go away, and then I go back to crappy food, then guess what? Whatever the gallbladder, of course, I don't have the gallbladder anymore, so I guess that won't happen. But, ulcers, stomach ulcers, because the H. pylori might not come back again because I ate crappy food. It shows up a long time later. Same thing with diabetes or, I don't know, blood pressure, whatever. Those don't show up. Our bodies are really good at hiding stuff. You do not know things. Again, if you listen to Peter Diamandis, I recommend listening to his health podcast. And then, like I said, Dr. David Sinclair, there are multiple other people, right? I've listened to so many people. One of the big, fun guys I've listened to is, I forgot his name. His name is a doctor from Florida, cardiologist, amazing guy about, fasting and the foods to eat and all that stuff. Again, I'll be getting into fasting episode later on how to, what's fasting and what the benefits are. In this episode, my main intention was really delve into your why and what are the reasons you want to be healthy and what protocols you want to follow. There are multiple things, which again, in my series, I'll be sharing multiple things, right? You got to pick and choose. What I found out is there's no one magic pill for everyone. Your body will tell you. So you have to listen to it. So bottom line for this episode is it's important to understand your why and what. Just like in a business, they'll say, figure out a why you want it to be in that business, because in the long run, all these ups and downs will get you out of the game. In business or entrepreneurship, same thing in health. If you don't have a strong reasons and strong methodologies on what you want to do, it'll throw you off your game and you'll be back to whatever bad, diet or eating habits or exercise habits, so on and so forth, you would have. So hope this has opened some eyes, shifted your thinking, and wait for the, if this is, listen to my other episodes if you get a chance. I don't know, by the time you listen to this, you'll have a chance. All my episodes will be released because right now I'm counting 11. Might be more, like I said. I don't think 11 will be done if you're listening to this in the first week of my release of my podcast. Either way, thanks for taking the time listening to my podcast. And share it, like it, subscribe it if it provided value for you. Thank you so much.